Hello survivors, this is Tesseract42 on my new channel. This is my debut video for Temporal Harmonics. Today I'm going to be showing you how I build my favorite style of hatchery. I think this is really important if you're getting into breeding, and I think this is a really great design. I think you guys are going to love it. We're about to jump right into it here in just a moment, and here we go. So, the great thing about this design is that you're going to have everything hidden below your floor. Now, you might wonder why, and it's because with everything hidden below the floor, you can place eggs wherever you want. They're going to incubate, and it's not really going to be a problem. I like this particular design because it hides everything. Your wiring, your ACs, everything's hidden below the floor. It's elevated as well, so you know nothing's gonna get at your stuff. And overall, I just think it's a great design. Alright, so you're gonna start off by doing what I'm doing here, and that is placing a large I'm doing a 5x5. You can do it however you want. I like doing the 5x5 design. I think it works out quite well, but you don't have to. So the key here is that you actually want the nubs. These nubs sticking out are from placing the pillar snap to the ceiling instead of vice versa. So I started out by placing the one pillar in the middle where I wanted the center of the building to be, and then placing a ceiling on top, and then going out 3. So that's important because if you try to place a pillar here, it's actually snapping to this pillar and not to the ceiling. So you want to go out 2 from the center. So place 3 ceilings and then place the other pillar, and then you're going to break this pillar here and place one attached to the bottom ceiling. That way all of them are actually poking up through. You can see the one right over there is poking up through. This is important because we're actually going to be using that second snap point that's above the snap point here to place some of our shielding and to elevate our ACs a little bit so they're actually closer to the surface of where you're going to be putting your actual floor. So we're going to create a subfloor and a little pocket for all of our electronics, and that's also going to serve to raise the ACs closer to the surface, and I'll show you what I mean here in a bit. Alright, so we've placed enough pillars. Alright, I'm going to place a few ramps so that we can get back up here, because we're eventually going to fall off, because I am not awesome at this. Alright. So here you've got your nice grid. Now you might be thinking, oh, but it's such a pain in the ass to place wires. Like, they never line up right, and you know, overall it's just a huge pain, and I hate doing that. Well, I'm here to show you a trick, and that is ladders. Ladders are awesome for placing things that don't like to snap. So I'm going to place my ladder here, and you got to make sure that the right side is facing you. So you want to find the right snap point. So there's several snap points here. There's one right there. There's another one right here, and then there's another one right here. You want this one. That way your ladder's facing you. So what you're going to do is get up on your ladder, get up kind of high on it right before you fall off. Then you're going to take your wire. Now you can't look left or right on your ladder. You can only look straight and back. That means that wherever you place your wire, it's going to snap. It's going to be aligned. So, you know, one of the problems a lot of people have with placing wiring in pipes is that it gets off kilter after a little bit, and you know there's nothing you can do about it. Well, the great thing about working with it this way is that it's never going to get more unaligned than it already is. It's never going to start veering off to the side and you have to, you know, go one over to get it back in line. It's not going to do that. This is the worst it's ever going to get. So it's hanging off a little bit over there, and it's hanging off a good little bit over there. But over the course of this this building, it's not going to get any more off than that. So that's nice. I'm actually going to break this one, and I'm going to get this out a little bit further. I don't necessarily like how it is right now, so we are going to get it a little bit further out, and I have to put the gun away. Just a note, I am using S+, for the versatility of being able to pick things up, but it is in no way necessary for this build. You can do this with all vanilla parts. Alright, so that looks a little better. It's sticking out a little here. That's actually going to get covered up by the walls later, though, so we're not worried about that at all. Alright. Pick up this ladder. Alright. put that away. So now we can go ahead and place all of our wiring down. And you'll see it's snapping right aligned with this pillar here. It takes a few tries to get it to snap down right where you want it, but once you do, all the pieces are going to snap down nice and squared off. So definitely worth it, definitely worth the cost of a ladder to make sure everything's going to snap properly. You don't necessarily need to do this whole grid. I do just because I want to place a lot of outlets down. It's not necessary in any way though. So you can just build, you know, one right here and then build in, and then if you're only going to do ACs in the center like I am, then you probably only need this one wire and maybe, you know, 4 outlets on each side, 1 outlet on each side for 4, and then you can build on top of that. But I like placing the entire thing down, so I'm going to do that. Alright, next step you want to do is you actually want to place these walls up next. This is because you're kind of creating extra snap points when you create your walls, when you create your next floor, and you're going to have a lot of accidentally misplaced floors, and sometimes the secondary flooring will actually obstruct the primary snap point, and you won't be able to snap anything to it. So we're going to place those walls first. Alright, next step is you're actually going to place... Oh, I skipped a step. Next step is you're going to place your outlets. So we're going to place our outlets. So these 4 are the main ones that you need to place. After this, you should be fine. I like to place a few extras. I like to actually fill up this grid. I'm not going to do that for the video, though. I'm just going to place a bunch, get them all taken care of. I usually like to have a few on the outer perimeter because I like to place fridges on the outer perimeter as well. And this will keep you from ever seeing those wires, which I think is really nice. So I'm not going to bother going through and filling in every single one, but I am going to make sure the outer perimeter and the inner perimeter are all taken care of. And that looks good to me. Alright, so next step is placing these ceilings. So as you can see, these are going to be up because they're being placed at the tops of these pillars here. So not only is this going to hide that nub, it's also going to hide all of your electronics and create a nice clean look for your base and your hatchery. And this is a great idea to do to add to your base in general, especially if you play on PvE. This gives you an extra layer that you can protect your base with. But on PvE, this is also nice just for hiding everything. And looks like I popped that. What did I do here? Okay. Sorry, it's a trick to put that gun away once you draw it out. Always put your gun away when you're done. Alright, so yet another trick I found for making sure your ACs align properly is on a 5x5. You go in 3 ceilings, and then this ceiling is actually directly over the center. So you can use this ceiling and its lineup point here to actually line up your ACs directly on center, which is nice. Alright, so I need to go ahead and admin command myself, and I love that. Alright, so we gave ourselves 100 air conditioners. That's going to go a long way. Alright, so we're going to take these back, and we're going to start placing our air conditioners. And if you just click on them, they actually pop right into your hotbar, which is, I think, is really nice. Alright, go ahead and you're going to... So my best way of judging these is I go in just a little bit and then try to line it up off the center piece here of that ceiling. So go in just a bit, turn. I think it's pretty well lined up on that ceiling. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to mostly match up because what I want to do is make 1 to 4 ceiling tiles here that have ACs under them. That way you can just place it just on that tile. You can paint that tile so you know which ones have ACs under them, which ones are good spots to place eggs. And I think that's really nice. Now, if you're using Structures Plus, what's really nice is that the ACs from Structures Plus actually snap to each other. So you can use that that trick with the ladder to place them square with the walls, and then place them from there square off each other, which is really handy. I'm going to go ahead and break these ceilings for now, because they're going to get in the way. But we're going to go ahead, and we're only going to place about 24 of these ACs, which is about twice what you need. But if you want a nice large area for incubating eggs, then 24 is a really good number, I think. think I did 20 in my last video. I've taken this video about 5 times today because my microphone was not working properly. I think I've got it working properly now. So I've done this a few times and worked out how much I need for the most part. All right, that's 16. We're gonna do some more. I might do 5x5 air conditioners as well. I think that'd be a good number, 5x5 in a 5x5 room. So, all right, that's 4x5. That's 20 ACs right now. How's that look when we put ceilings down over it? All right, so this entire one is covered. So this one, paint this a different color, and you know it's perfect. And basically anything that sits on top of this exact tile is going to be completely covered by AC, which is great. I think we're going to go another row on each side, just for having that area, that pure just area to be able to place it. So we're going to go another row out with ACs. And all of these will be powered by the wiring that we already placed. I think is excellent. Something to keep in mind is you might be thinking, hey, you know, I can just put my eggs directly on top of those ACs. It's a bad idea because babies love to fall through them, and then you'll have to break your ACs to get your babies out, and it's a bad day. So you do want to do another layer of ceilings over this when you're done. You don't want to just leave it at this. Alright, so about half that ceiling tile is covered with ACs, and almost this entire ceiling tile. I mean, you can go out as far as you want. We're just gonna finish this up here, just because I don't want to make this video take forever. So we're gonna cover this up. And all right. So now you've got your platform. Now, next thing you want to do is you want a generator room. I usually make mine too tall and too long. I don't make it a 2x2. I just do a 2x2x1. Just because the generator is kind of tall itself, it sticks up through a 1 high. We're gonna get rid of these air conditioners. All right, now we can actually see. All right, we're gonna need that, and we're gonna need some ramps, and we're gonna need some of these, and we can get rid of these these air conditioners, sorry. So we go ahead and place a ramp. Alright, oh, I forgot, we're also going to need this and our generator, of course. Alright, so this is actually snapping to the wiring that's already in there, so that's excellent. So depending on where you want your wall to be for your generator room, or where you want your door, you know, place that first, take care of that. But what I usually like to do is place my generator facing me like this. I don't know, I just think it looks the best, but that's just me, so don't worry about that. We'll go ahead and put our gas in there and turn it on, and then we'll go check out our thermal insulation here. We'll go see how good we are. So we're standing pretty much right in the middle. We're getting about 2,700 hyperthermal insulation, which is excellent. That'll insulate anything you want to hatch, so we don't have to worry about any of that. So I don't have any doorways. I've done this video 5 times and still haven't spawned myself some doorways, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to block this in, but you'd obviously want a doorway somewhere in here so that you can access your area. Another good idea might be to leave this open. That way you can get in, get to your ACs and everything if there's any problems later on, if you're ever having a problem there. Drop myself down. Alright. Alright. So that's all you really need to do for your generator platform. Make that its own little room. You can could even just leave this open so that you can come back and attach your whatever whenever you need it. So I'm going to close that off. Alright. Now we're going to go around the walls. I'm going to leave that open for now just in case it falls off. And we're going to leave the front open because I'm going to show you how to do dino gates in there. Alright, so to do dino gates, it's kind of a pain. You have to use fence foundations. So on this one, I'm going to use a regular dino gate. You can use the behemoth gates. I personally don't like them. They don't line up very well with the ceilings, I think. So I don't use them. But the dino gates work perfectly well, and you'll be able to get any babies through a dino gate, I think. So I don't think they'll cause any problems. So I placed the 2 dino gates on top of these fence foundations, and that'll let you snap them to the fence foundations, and they line up and they look pretty and they look good. From there, you go ahead and build your walls. I don't think I need to show you guys how to build walls, but what I should show you is if you want to make this higher than the dino gates for some reason, just to make it fit your base or whatever, you might notice you can't snap a wall to this gateway here. What you have to do is you have to use ceilings. So you go ahead and you snap your ceiling onto the thing here, and then you'll be able to snap a wall to the underside of it and then go across and do it that way. So you'll have to build up and then start building your ceiling out to be able to do it, but it's totally doable. And then your ceiling will line up nice and pretty with that. Or your walls will line up nice and pretty with your gateway here. So they clip into them a little bit now, and it's awesome. So you go ahead and do that, and then you can build all the way around. The nice thing here, again, is that you can, build this into your base. This can be at the same level, or you can just put ramps down and make it a separate building from your base. I'd definitely rather have it. I'd definitely rather have it as its own, or definitely rather have it attached to the base, simply because some babies are too small and can't get over the ramps very easily, which I think is a huge pain. So I like to make it at the same level so that they can walk in, and you can do that. You can build this first, you can build your base afterwards, or you can do it the other way. It's not really an issue, but that is my hatchery design. And I hope this helps someone. I hope someone can get as excited about this as I have gotten. Maybe make some improvements. If you got some improvements, feel free to hit me up. Let me know, because I would definitely like to see some improvements to this place. I have done this with the entire thing here being air conditioners, and you get about 7,000 at the corners and about 12,000 at the center. I've also built this as a 6x6 with a dino gateway in the middle instead of 2, just to save on resources. It actually saves a little bit of resources since you're not building the dino gate, the 2 dino gateways and 2 dino gates. So it saves a little bit just by making it, that many ceilings bigger. But anyway, thanks for watching, and keep surviving.